Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And now time for the nation's sharpest opinion. Dear viewers, the law cannot function in a vacuum of the reality on the ground. Sometimes I get an impression, and with the greatest of respect to their lordships, I have immense respect for the judiciary of this country, we must be clear about the facts that judgments have an impact on the ground, and judgments must therefore also logically keep in mind the fact that it's not only technicalities to be looked at, it is the ground situation which needs to be appreciated. Threats to society exist, terrorism exists, radicalization exists, and if we as a country or as a judicial process take a slightly liberal view towards terrorists, radical elements, dangerous elements, lawbreakers, that the consequences of this could have a direct impact and bearing on society and to the lives and security of ordinary Indians. Therefore, I believe law cannot exist in a vacuum. I'm sure you agree with me. The law also needs to be cognizant of the realities and repercussions and precedent of the message being sent out with every decision of the court. I, as a journalist, feel responsible. I feel that the media has a responsibility. Equally, ladies and gentlemen, every aspect of our society, every institution, like the media or the judiciary, every aspect, every institution in this country has a responsibility. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, with the greatest of respect to the courts, I beg to completely defer tonight with the decision of the Honorable Delhi High Court that did not think that Aris Khan, the Batla House convict, the terrorist, that they did not think he deserved the death penalty. They did not think he deserves to the gallows for his acts. And has commuted it, I am told, to life imprisonment. Now, with all due respect, it is my humble opinion that at a time when Islamist terror is playing out in the horrific, barbaric manifestation via the Hamas and Israel, we have to discuss what is the impact. Will this be perceived to go soft on terror? We can't go soft on terror. We cannot go soft on terrorists. We should go very hard with them, not in India alone, globally. And this is not the time, in my view, to look at an act of terrorism and then weigh how much in the red zone it is. We have to just say an act of terrorism is an act of terrorism. There is no scale and magnitude of an act of terrorism. One person killed, 200 killed, in my view, is the same. We cannot start saying we will now compare this act of terrorism versus that and then see what is the magnitude of an act of terrorism. Terrorism is terrorism. And therefore, when we see an act of terrorism like the Batla House, it is an act of terrorism. There is no gradation, stratification, or implicit hierarchy in acts of terrorism. There can be no gradation, ladies and gentlemen. I'm only making a very logical point, and I hope everyone thinks and talks about it. You can't have a gradation of acts of terrorism. There are no degrees to be measured in how much of an act of terror you have committed. You can't do Kasab versus Aris. It's all the same. A terrorist is a terrorist. And that is why I feel let down as an Indian. Much like the family of martyr Mohan Chand Sharma, that the Delhi High Court toned down the sentence of Aris Khan from a death sentence delivered to a life term. And let me explain my reasoning. It's not like I feel what the trial court did is right, what the High Court did is wrong. No. My logic is very elementary, very basic. Batla House happened in 2008. 2008 is a year I can't forget, and neither can you. The same year when after 9 o'clock in the evening on the 26th of November, 2008, that was the year, ladies and gentlemen. 26/11 happened 15 years ago. This Aris Khan had fled the spot after the Batla House case and was declared a proclaimed offender. He was arrested only in 2018. That itself was 10 years after Batla. Then 3 years after he was finally arrested, after a decade of being on the run, he was given a death sentence by the trial court. Then 2 years after that, at the High Court level, his sentence is essentially diluted, in my view. What is to say that the way it is going in a few years, this life imprisonment is also diluted? This man is let free, walking around like a free man. Is this justice? Is this what justice looks like for an act of pure terrorism? Is this the iron fist approach that this country should have? And I'm saying it tonight, and I'm not in any popularity contest with anyone or any institution. I am clear that India needs to fight terrorism in one uncompromising voice. No pillar of our democracy, the media included, can speak in two voices against our response to terrorism. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I think that there has to be a closure in the Batla case. I am saying tonight, hashtag no closure in Batla. That is unfortunate. We cannot say, in my view, that an Aris Khan is guilty of murder in the Batla House case and also say that that act of terrorism is not a rarest of rare cases. We have to have a blanket approach. We have to have a universal approach on cases of terrorism. And that is my view.